And I sold underwears, what we used to call Pataolokun.
What?
Yes, Pataolokun. 4 years into when he left the house, I was privy to meet him on the road, just about 2 streets away from the house. We didn't move out from that same house. We still remained in the same house. And I was excited to see him on the road. And I'm like, Dad. And he just gave me this cold greeting. Like, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine. I said, your sisters? I said, they are fine. I said, okay. Because few days after, he passed on. It affected everyone. My mom never remarried until she passed on. She still had this belief that my dad was going to come back. And we also didn't get to hear about his passing on or his death until 3rd of January. I was asking terrible questions. I was even asking my wife to be terrible questions as,
like,
when your father dies, what is going to be our responsibility?
I need to go and ask my husband this question.
Like,
Sweetheart, what's the culture in your family? I will just run away.
Guys, welcome back to season 3 of How They Healed. If you're wondering what season 1 and 2 is, it's on this YouTube channel. Just scroll to the playlist of How They Healed. You can watch season 1 and 2. How They Healed was created because I healed from having a child at 19, 14 heartbreaks, 15 abortions, and a divorce. Today, I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist and a family life coach. I help people heal from trauma, emotional pain, dysfunction for a greater life of abundance and meaning. So, subscribe to this channel so that you can be the first to watch when a new episode drops. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, welcome to How They Healed. On How They Healed, we bring you guests that come to share about their growth, their resilience, and their healing journey. Our goal is to take you from a place of pain and helplessness to a place of power. As usual, I'm your host, Lara Kudaisi Don Momo. So today I have somebody very exciting in the house. You can tell I'm so excited because I have known this person for such a long time, and I have seen him rise from grass to grace. Like, it is so, I have, and it's so wonderful when you see your friends, after a while, and you see how well they are doing. All of you are doing well together. And there's so much to unpack from his story today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me my friend, my brother, Peacemaker. Dada. No. I got it wrong again. So you must tell me, because when I knew you as Peacemaker at this word, Dada. So what happened?
Okay, first of all, let me say thank you.
You're welcome
for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
How We Heal.
Yes, and I need to add this part, ladies and gentlemen. This is our second recording. The first recording was bad, and he graciously agreed to come back again.
Oh wow!
So I'm so honored.
Thank you. So your question, why Dada?
Yeah.
To Afolabi.
Okay.
That's the new name. Well, two things majorly. My dad's name is actually Afolabi.
Oh, that's his first name.
That's his first name. Okay. So Dada is the compound name from where I come from. Secondly, myself and my brother did a bit of research, and we felt the Dada name was linked to Delty. So
it's not Dada the dreadlock, but it's more for
different people will give it different meaning. So I remember when I was much younger, I used to say Dada wak you, Dada wak you. So people will give it different meaning. So basically, because of those two reasons, that's why I decided to change my surname from Dada to
Afolabi. And all your siblings too, girls, boys, everybody changed?
Well, all the girls are married. So they didn't need to change because they were still changing to their husband's name. So it was just myself and my older brother that needed to do that. And we successfully did that, and all our children are bearing the name now.
Afolabi?
Yes.
Okay, you look like an Afolabi. I like the name.
Olada.
So on this show, you know how we do it. You've been here before. You know how we do it.
Have I been here before?
Yes, you have been here.
Okay.
I said it earlier.
I've been here before.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're talking about healing. How did you heal from a lot of things? And so we start from the beginning here. Okay. So tell me, what kind of a child were you?
Wow. I would say I was a loving child. I was a lovable child. I was a jovial child. I was a fun to be with child. Didn't really have so much bad memories growing up. But of course, when you get to a point, you start experiencing life. So my young child age or period was a very interesting one.
Okay.
Although I was involved in so many other things
Like what?
street hawking, change from one religion to another.
Wait, calm down. First of all, were you guys were from humble beginnings?
Yes,
I'm trying to look
yes,
for a
yes,
tissue.
yes, humble beginning.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's ours was humble beginning.
What was it?
Ours was a poor.
Poor beginning. It
Poor
was not
beginning.
humble.
It wasn't humble, but
Okay.
so there's this thing that people usually say, old money.
Yeah.
So my parents were old money kind of parents, although we enjoyed at some point, but at some point too it wasn't as enjoyable as we would have loved it to be. So it was kind of a mixed feeling kind of growing up. So at some point we were poor, at some point we were rich, at some point we were silver spoon, at some point we were
Wood spooned. Okay.
Wood
So, and it was so bad that you had to hawk
yes,
to feed.
yes,
Oh
and
my
also to
goodness.
help to provide for the family.
So, what position were you?
Last
Or are
child.
you? You're the last born.
Yes, but before I became the last child, I had a younger sister who passed on many years ago, far back as 1989.
Wow.
So automatically I became the last child. My parents were already done giving birth, so there was no need to say we wanted to go and give birth again. What did I hawk?
Yeah. What did you hawk?
So I don't know whether you know anything called ice water.
Of course.
Okay, so I don't know whether people will know
Well,
about
no,
it.
no,
So
Gen Z will not
it's
know.
what
They
has
only know pure water. They don't know ice
It's what
water.
has translated into pure water.
Yes.
So
but
then
it
it
was-
used to be ice water. You just buy nylon, pour water in it, tie it, put it inside the fridge. Sometimes it becomes iced. Sometimes it's just cold. So I did that for a while in Lagos.
How much would that have fetched?
Well, I don't know.
How much was one? Do you remember?
No, I can't remember. That's a
It's
long
such a
time
long
ago.
time, I can
And
imagine.
then I sold underwears, what we used to call Pataolokun.
What?
Yes, Pataolokun.
How old
So,
were you this day?
Probably maybe 6, 7. 6, 7. That's what you will have called child abuse
Yeah.
that time. But it wasn't only myself that was doing it. I was doing it with my other siblings.
Okay.
I think it was just my elder brother that wasn't doing it then. My other 3 sisters, we were. In fact, my immediate elder sister were like a power team. We will roll together, go together, do like a competition on who was going to sell faster or who
Oh
was going to
wow!
finish
So
selling.
you guys you found
So
a
we're
way to
enjoying it.
enjoy it.
Yes,
That's what I
we're
like about
enjoying it.
children. Very innocent.
But you know, it's also based on the neighborhood that we're growing up. People didn't see that as a big deal. It was a normal
Was
thing
it
for
norm?
people to do.
Which
yes.
neighborhood was that? Of course, it was. It
It's a
must have been
community
Lagos
called
mainland.
Igesha Tedo.
Oh.
Yes, a community called Igesha. But it's a very developed place right now.
Yes,
but
it
then
is.
it wasn't as developed as it is right now. So I walked on the street basically to help the family. Pure water, underwears, Pataolokun. Basically, that was what myself. But it helped my sales ability because while myself and my sister was competing on who was going to sell faster or who was going to finish selling first, it was building that capacity within us. And so over the years, I've been involved in almost 10 businesses, having to do different sales activity at different points in time. And I enjoy sales.
Wow.
I enjoy sales.
That's so good.
I enjoy sales.
I like that you see the good in the pain.
Yes, you
That's
don't have
how
a
to
choice.
heal, actually.
You
You know,
don't
a lot
have
of
a
people
choice.
hold on to that. They made me hawk. This is why. But you have chosen to see the good. I like that.
Yeah. I
So
don't
your
have a choice.
parents,
Yeah.
tell me about them.
Oh, my
Their
my parents, wonderful. My dad from Osun State, my mom from Edo State. Wonderful man. My mom, sweet. Both of blessed memory today.
Okay.
But at some point, they separated. At some point, they were 5 and 6. At some point, they were water and
7
land.
and
They
9.
couldn't see themselves. So my dad left home at some point. I was just into my teenage year, and then my dad left home and never returned back until he passed on.
You are jumping. So he left home.
Yes.
Was there a conversation with the children? Was there like,
Nah.
oh, I'm not, I love you guys, but we're not doing this anymore?
Nothing like that.
Wow.
which is one thing that we really, really missed. So we go home one day, we couldn't find him in the house.
So your mom too didn't know he was leaving?
No,
She didn't know?
she didn't know. So he just left the house like that. And 4 years into when he left the house, I was privy to meet him on the road, just about 2 streets away from the house. We didn't move out from that same house. We still remained in the same house, and I was excited to see him on the road. And I'm like, Dad, and he just gave me this cold greeting, like, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine. I said, your sisters? I said, they are fine. I said, okay.
And he left?
And he left.
That was it?
And that was the last time I ever heard from my dad, or even ever saw my dad, because few days after, he passed on.
See, I've heard this thing before. This is not my first time. But every time I hear it, it still runs a cold chill, on me. I'm telling you, because that's very traumatic.
Yeah.
So, let's go back to when he left. You guys were home, the children, your mom. What was the conversation like? Did it affect your mom? Was she down? Did it affect you as a child?
Oh, it affected every one of us.
Did you guys talk about it?
Oh yeah, we tried to talk about it. My mom, my elder brother, my elder sisters. It affected everyone. My mom never remarried until she passed on. She still had this belief that my dad was going to come back. Now, to my mom's side, this was my mom's third marriage.
Oh.
So my mom from Edo State, she had got married at a very young age, gave birth to 2 children, and then marriage didn't work. Then she left Edo State, came to Lagos, married another person, had 3 children. The marriage didn't work. And then along the line, she met my dad. And she, from the story that I heard, she was skeptical. She didn't want to marry again, knowing that she had 5 children before then. Of course, my dad was also privy to all the information because she was open, transparent with my dad. But she eventually got married to my dad, and then it didn't work. So my mom made up her mind that she was never going to remarry.
How many kids did she have with your dad?
So with my dad, we are 5, but before then we were 7. 2 had passed on in the process.
Your mom had 7 children with your dad?
Yes, with my dad.
After 5 children?
Yes. My mom was a fertile ground.
You guys did not remove her womb for preservation? What?
No, we didn't.
She should have donated that womb to science.
No, she didn't. And that's also the other part. My dad was also married before.
Okay.
Before he married my mom, so that also didn't work out.
Wow.
So
how many kids did your dad have from the first marriage?
4 kids, 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys.
Peacemaker, you come from a very
we come from a compound family.
Compound.
Yes, we are compounded.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, we are compounded, and so my dad too never remarried. After he left until he passed on, my mom never remarried too until passed on.
Oh my goodness.
But individually, we could remember so many good things about my parents. Also, togetherness, we could also remember so many good things. But for unfortunate reasons, they never stayed together till they passed on at different points in time.
Oh my goodness.
So
that must have been that sounds like a sad story.
Yes, it was a sad story, but then we needed to bring out the good story out of every sad story.
Yeah.
So everyone moved on. Today, all of us, we are married. My siblings are married into close to 30 years, close to 20 years.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Almost all of us have children, except my immediate elder sister who got married not too long ago.
Okay.
And we are close.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I like that.
Close.
So, but do you have relationships with your other siblings from maybe your mom's previous marriages, your dad's previous marriage?
I have with some. I don't have with some. Unfortunately, some are also they have also passed on.
Of course.
So
for you to be this old now, you are the last born. You're like 68 years old.
I have
right
some.
now.
I don't have with some. But then I try my best to have relationships with everyone. It's also because of posterity.
Yeah.
I'm closer to my immediate siblings than my extended siblings.
Okay.
I mean, I talk to almost all my siblings almost every other week. As a matter of fact, today is just Tuesday. We've spoken yesterday. I visited one of them over the weekend. We are very close.
Okay.
For the extended one, once in a while we try to reach out. Once in a while we try to reach out and just see how we can still maintain the relation. We know that we are still family members.
Oh,
we
of
may not be
course.
close,
Yes,
but we
but
know
you
that
guys
we are
share the
family
same blood.
members.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. So back to when your dad passed, you saw him on the road 4 years after he left home, and then a few days after he passed.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, from what we heard, he had the terminal sickness that he was managing.
Oh, and you guys were not privy to it?
We should we say we were not. We were when we
Okay.
were all together,
Okay.
but we didn't know it had gotten that bad. Maybe he was also trying to shield us from that. We don't know. And then I think I saw him on the 28th of December of that particular year.
You're
And
sure? You remember this date?
Yeah, I can
Wow.
remember this day. This was 1998. And then 1999, 2nd of January, he passed on.
Wow.
And we also didn't get to hear about his passing on or his death until 3rd of January,
The next day.
the next day. And so we had to all travel to the village on the 4th of January. But upon our arrival, he had already been buried. So we also didn't see his body. So we only saw the burial site. But I had to honor him again 3 years ago. I went back to the village, just basically to just go and tell him thank you. Because I still see a lot of myself in him. I see a lot of my attributes in him. So just went home to just say thank you. That was the only thing I went to do.
Wow.
None of us have been able to travel back to the village since his passing on, almost 26 years ago. It was our mom that was trying to travel then to try and see if she can get his assets and all of those things. I remember reaching out to my mom one day and then I said, this village that you are going to, what's the purpose? She said, your dad had some properties, we'll go, I'm like, did we come to you at any particular point in time that we wanted the property? She said, no, but for you guys. I'm like, Mom, can I ask you a favor? She said, what? I said, can you drop it? We don't need it. We'll have much more than that. And we were able to, drop it. She was able to listen and then dropped it.
I can imagine.
So that was it.
So, but how did that affect you as a child?
Oh, vacuum. So, and it was different level. So the first was, you have a father, but he's not staying with you. Neither are you staying with him. So that gap was there. Then the second part is, you have a father, but you don't have a father again, rather. He's no longer here. He's gone. So now you have to battle with two things. There was a time you had a father who was not there, and now you have you don't have a father, so he's not there. Then you could even try and say, just like the experience that I shared, that I saw him on the road. This time around, you are never going to see him until when all of us will get to heaven.
But how did you feel when you saw him and he gave you the cold shoulder?
Oh my God! If not for Christ, I probably wouldn't have forgiven my dad for that experience.
Why?
Because, I'm a child, excited to see your dad, and you got this cold feeling, Papa, not be me offend you now. Why the transfer aggression? But it's also based on people's understanding per time. So that was his own kind
but
of
what did that
understanding.
do to you?
No, that left a very terrible taste in my mouth. It took me a while for me to heal from that experience. It took me a while. I've just said it, if not for Christ, I probably wouldn't have forgiven that experience or forget that experience. But over the years, I have a business partner who has relocated out of Nigeria, who will always tell me in Yoruba that Komose Aida. And what that means is, when people do things, it is out of their ignorance. It is not based on their own understanding that they are doing it. So just forgive them. Just let it be. And you that you have higher understanding, just continue with your life. And so I don't want my own children. I have 3 children today. I don't want them to experience anything like that. I'm not an absentee dad. I take my children to school. I'm actively involved. Recently I was even sharing how there was Father's Day. Was it Father's Day? I can't even remember, but it was more for male child and then boys, International Boys Day. And I was the only dad in the whole of the school that I visited.
Wow.
During that period, I mean, the headmistress was shocked.
Because we're all moms.
I mean, moms didn't even come to even start with. I was like the only parent that was around. I had to write a story about it. I mean, Dad, we need to do better. Because my son was feeling like a superstar.
Of course. I can imagine myself.
And I had to wait for almost an hour, 30 minutes. Because they were doing some trainings for them, teaching them how to be boys and how to do things. And I was just there. I stayed. I was listening. When they were done, I left.
Do you think that because of, your dad's absenteeism, is that what is controlling you to behave this way?
I would say partly yes, but I also know better. I'll say partly yes. I don't want my son to have that kind of experience. I mean, my son is from my failed marriage. I'm not always with my son. He lives with his mom. So every experience or every opportunity that I get for him to experience, I'm available. Sometimes I've had to travel back into the country. Sometimes I've had to travel back into the States just for me to be involved in probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes activity, because I know the kind of thing it would do to his self-esteem.
Yes.
And even his person.
Yes.
As a child. So I go the extra mile to make sure that he has those kind of memories. He has those kind of experiences, because he's also transgenerational.
Yeah.
He's also going to do the same thing at the end of the day. So I want him to do things that his children will also be proud of. I mean, my son is approaching his teenage years. Before you know it, the boy will come one day, go say, "Dad, I'm getting married."
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so glad I'm your friend. I'm telling you.
And I'm so glad I'm your friend.
Because a lot of men don't have this understanding that you have.
Wow.
It's the truth. It's the truth. They leave parenting.
But I think
mom.
I think we are progressing.
That's
I see
good.
men. I mean, when I drop my
better.
children in school, I see men also bringing children to school. So sometimes I'm gisting with some of them, and I see that we are not 50-50 in terms of percentage, but I'm seeing men 30-35%, and then the women 60-65%.
That's good.
So we are also growing.
That's quite encouraging. So you talked about your failed marriage now.
Yes.
So before we get there, your dad died, you being a teenager, all of those things. How did you even progress to the extent of marriage? What kind of teenager, man did you become?
What kind of a teenager or man did I become? So, my parents were not violent.
Okay.
Other than one or two occasions, they were a bit of violence, and I think that was also part of the reason why my dad left home. So, I'm not a violent child to start with. My personality also contributed to the kind of person that I am. I'm not a violent person. You rarely find me fight. You rarely find me do some kind of things. And over the years, what I tell people, I've had to also mentor myself. And what that means is I look ahead. I try to see the kind of person that I want to be. And I mentor myself, what other people will call training, to say, this is the path that you want to live or that you want to be. So go on this path. It has not been rosy. I can confirm that to you. I've not been the best child on the surface of this earth, but I can tell you that I'm a good child. I'm a good kid. My mom was very proud of me while she was alive. And my siblings are heavily, and I'm saying that with all sense of modesty, my siblings are heavily proud of me.
That's now. What about
as
then?
In now. Even then.
Let's say from 18 years old till
even
you got
then,
married the
I
first
mean,
time.
even
what,
then.
What were you doing? Where were you?
What was I doing? I was a church boy. I mean, I was a church boy. I've been a church boy from my teenage years. I mean, I never smoked. I never drank. I never womanized. I never did.
Never smoked. You never drank. Like even testosterone.
Testosterone. The one I tried was Star of many years ago. Just the tip. I was this for 3 days.
The tip.
Just the tip. I was this for 3 days. So I mean, I didn't even bother myself after that day. This was far back as 1993 or 1994.
Since then,
And since then, I
he
mean,
never
forget
went
it.
back.
So I mean, I take wine, I do champagne, but to drunkenness, no way. I mean, you don't find that also in my family. So I was a good child, and I think, like I said, is because I'm not from a violent home. Two, my personality, and then three,
What's
Christ.
your personality?
So
Because you keep saying my personality.
so I'm this gentle, calm going guy. I don't hold things to heart. So I've never had high blood pressure in my life. I mean, I developed something that I called auto ignore. So when people are doing things that is not attractive to me, I just ignore. I'm not the kind of person that I will start fighting or I will start one thing or the other. So I'm just this calm going guy. Then my temperament, I'm a sang phlegmatic.
I'm telling you.
I'm not. We know the whole thing.
You know
We don't talk. I don't. We
you
don't
don't
talk. I don't
finish.
finish.
They don't even they serious. As you take serious, it dey shock me.
So, but largely is also because I'm a church boy, and I've allowed God to actually walk through me. It's not like I didn't see opportunity to be a bad guy. I mean, I grew up in Igesha Tedo, for example. There are so many crazy things that happen within the environment. But one of the things I also appreciate about my parent is the fact that, you know, I'd shared earlier that we had different seasons in our life. There was a time we were living in the eyebrow Surulere, Body Thomas, which was a rich man kid side.
Oh, of course.
In fact, recently I took my wife to where I grew up in Body Thomas. And I was like, I said, you are from a poor house. This is not a rich man area. I said, this rich man area, where is on 3 years now, we stayed there. So, but those 3 years also contributed to a lot of things. We had a neighbor, and it was so interesting because those 3 years, we were living in a room and parlor. Mom, dad with 5 children, yes. We were living in a room and parlor. But my dad also had an office in the building that was in front, which was maybe like a 3-bedroom kind of thing. But just living in that environment for 3 years, I know the kind of things that it did to me.
What did it do to you?
I mean, it changed my orientation on how to live life. So it's even I'm remembering that we were even living in a room and parlor because we were living with rich kids. And once you live in the neighborhood, automatically everybody is
part
rich.
of the neighborhood.
So there was nobody looking at you like this poor children, or you can't afford some things. I mean, we were living our next door neighbor or opposite neighbor, Alaji Balarabi. I still had a conversation about him with my sister some days ago. The man made us feel as if we were the richest kids in this whole planet. This man had jeeps. He would take us on excursion with his children.
Oh, wow.
We went to Takwa Bay. We went on boat cruise. We went to Apapa Amusement Park. We were going to places. And the man was funding it just because of the love that he had. My sister.
Hey.
All of my years in Igesha. Nobody at any particular point in time.
Oh, my goodness.
Ever. And you know, today with a sense of modesty, not because I'm in the real estate space, my family can't live outside an estate.
Why?
I mean,
why?
They can't because
Even though I know, but why?
So I work a lot. I'm a workaholic, which you can see as either my advantage or disadvantage.
Yes.
I don't want to be getting phone calls like something is happening in the house. I don't need that. I don't want to hear things like we never take lights. There's no water. I don't want to hear things like that. Or there's trash stocked up everywhere. I don't want to hear things like that. So I want to be able to go out and come back and I know that I am good.
Okay. So you talked about how you have an auto ignore inside of you.
Yes.
So how did your marriage fail? And you said you have such a, gentle, calm, chilling personality. So what happened?
How did my marriage fail?
How did you even get married?
How
What
did I get married?
attracted you to
I saw one fine babe now. I went for an event in Orienta. I saw this fine babe. She was the host of the event.
Okay.
And we got connected. After then, we realized that we attended the same church. After that, we became friends. After that, okay, a good person be this now. Let's see how we can take it further. And then we got married. Now, everything I just said now is not enough to sustain marriage.
Everything that you even said now, how long did it last?
14 months.
Okay.
A year
Because I
and
knew
two-
you then.
A year and
We
2
were very
months.
good
Yes.
friends
A
then.
year
And we're
and 2
family
months.
friends.
We're family
because
friends.
we married just
Almost the same time.
almost the same time, lived in the same neighborhood, had our kids
Almost the same time, in the same hospital,
In
by
the
the way.
same hospital. No, did we have the same hospital?
Yes, now.
No, it's not the same
Rollard
hospital. No. Our own is Rodin.
Rodin Hospital, sorry.
Is it Rodin?
Yes, now. Can
You need to
imagine?
give me wine. No, I don't know. I'm your senior. You know. Yeah, our son is older than your son.
Yes, 2 months.
So because you guys looked cool, cute, and everything, we all went to church together. That time we didn't have car sef. You guys were the one that used to give us ride to church. So what happened?
Like I said, everything I shared is not enough to sustain marriage.
Absolutely.
So the second part is that I'll take full responsibility. I wasn't man enough. Man enough, not just that I didn't have money. I wasn't man enough to say you can handle marriage. I didn't do the necessary research or the necessary build-ups that I needed to do.
For a man.
For a man.
Okay.
And then 2, there was also family tussle. And like I tell people today, I mean, people still come to me, maybe based on the fact that I've been married before and I'm happily married now. And they come for marriage advice. And part of the advice I give to people is, once you see that there's a family tussle, don't bother.
What was the reason for the family tussle?
So sometimes it could just be there. It
What do
could
you mean it's just be
I
there?
mean,
how can there just be tussle between two
so
families?
I'm telling
Something
you,
must have caused it.
sometimes it could just be there based on expectations. Maybe one family is hoping that they are going to have somebody better than the person that their child is bringing. Other times it could be based on values. You don't have same values.
Okay.
Pastor used to say, once you don't have value, you can't have values.
Yes.
So it could be based on values. It could also be based on ignorance. It could be cultural based. When you don't have cultural intelligence over how to handle something. For example, my wife is Igbo. My current wife is Igbo. Yes.
Okay.
She's Igbo.
Okay.
I'm Yoruba.
I didn't know.
Half Yoruba,
My
half
wife is
Edo.
Igbo.
She's Igbo.
Wow.
And all my children have Igbo names.
Okay.
The second language in the house right now is Igbo.
I understand that.
After English is Igbo. Is now we want to start teaching them how to speak Yoruba. Because I want them to be able to relate with their mom, their grandmothers, their grandfather. My wife's grandmother is still alive. That's
Okay.
great mother to my children.
Okay.
And they communicate with them in Igbo and they respond. And so when you see all those things, you are not only going to marry that person, you're going to marry the family. So once there's an issue between the two families, my sister, my brother, just find your way. And that was part of the issue that we had. So there was an issue that happened between my ex-wife's mom and my late brother. And the thing escalated into so many other things. Eventually, that marriage broke down. But imagine if we already knew that we were going to have this kind of issue.
So
There's
was
no
it
point.
that singular issue?
So to be honest,
Yes, honest.
that's the only issue that I could remember in terms of family,
Okay.
in terms of extended family part. But even for us, in terms of couple, like I said, I was ignorant of a lot of things as a man or as a husband. I was ignorant of a lot of things. And
Now that you are married now, what were the things you were ignorant? Knowing
my
what
sister,
you know now.
me and my wife, so let me share a short story. Somebody introduced my wife to me, which is like the old style in many years ago, that when a family comes and says to another family that we have a child that we want you to marry, my sister, is almost like you have a marriage, you have a home. Because for them to come, they've done all their due diligence. That was what happened to me. So somebody who knew me, who happened to be the person that even signed our courtship form for my last marriage, was introducing me to my wife because she knew me. She could vouch for me. She knew everything pre, during, and after the marriage. She knew my wife because they were like business partners doing businesses together.
Okay.
And one day she just told me at an event, she had an event, we both attended, and she just came to meet me after the event. She just said, Peacemaker, oh my mother, like this babe is going to be good for you. Of course, I was still ill in that period. I just told her, I said, you know what, anything relationship, just forget it. As in, for now on, just forget it. The second year, the same event, she had the same event. We came again. She came to meet me again and still told me that
This same lady,
she told me again, she said, this babe, she go good for you. Say, Peacemaker. So by that time I was already healing. So my guards were already down. So I said, well, I don't know. Then I said, what church does she attend? She mentioned the church. And that church is a special church. I said, now that church, now she they go. I said, I don't want to.
I know they do.
Make she just they say no, that she's not like that. I just want that now. So I said, okay. If she now said, don't worry, I'll do the introduction. And then she did the introduction. She took permission from her if she could share a number with me. She shared the number. One day, me too, I called, and it was a smooth conversation. But that's not where I'm going in the story. This is where I'm going in the story. So we went out on a date for the first time. My wife practically asked me questions for 4 good hours. Asked me about my failed marriage, asked me about my son, asked me about my business, asked me about vision, asked me clarity questions. So when you go to 4 hours, I didn't even know it was up to 4 hours. It was me that now told her that, madam, come and be going to your house. You have tried. But for 4 good hours, I didn't know that I was being interviewed. For 4 good hours, there was nothing we didn't discuss. Discuss family, where families are from, everything. She was just asking me questions. I mean, I was just like, oh, anything where she want to ask me, may she ask me. And that's transparency, because everything, I was able to share everything I could share in 4 hours. So in her mind, she was like, okay, maybe this guy, not correct guy.
Okay.
In my mind, I never make up my mind. You understand? But by the second time we went out, we went to watch a movie. Now, my friend, not my wife now, my friend, after that time, she lost communication with me. She wasn't communicating with me. So it was like I was pushy. So I just left her. But she fell sick one day. She was in the hospital. And she was asking God that, oh God, so now like this I go die, I no go marry, I go die. You know, those kind of. God told her that I've already given you your husband. Then she started tracing it back. And then she traced it to me. But on our second date, we went to the cinema and something happened. Very funny scenario. And these are things that may not even make sense to anybody. So we're watching a movie and we were eating popcorn, and popcorn fell into this part of her dress. And she removed it and she ate it. I said, I don't find my wife.
Why?
Because if she could be that free with me, that popcorn, I dare go there till we finish that movie.
Are you serious?
There
are women like that.
There are women like that.
I go pick her more.
So
if I don't fall down,
if I remember calling one of my friend in America and I said, guy, I don't want to be too fast, but I found my wife.
So what are you trying to link to your first marriage? Is it that the first wife didn't have that transparency?
No, we didn't have all those kind of communications. We didn't have all those kind of talk. All those kind of talk to know whether we are going to be together.
So what
forever.
did you guys have for 14 months?
For 14 months, we just they go church now. We go church Wednesday service, Sunday service, we go church. Sometimes we go out. We don't talk that deep.
Oh, what did you guys do? Because I knew you guys then. Now.
We just did no.
Okay, so no, okay.
So, but now, between when that happened and when I was coming into my relationship, I asked every question.
Okay.
I asked every question. I wanted to be sure. I visited my in-laws. I visited them for the first time. I don't even see my wife. Now my in-laws, now how they look. I did look my father-in-law whether this man he go give me one tough time. I was busy looking at my mother-in-law to be whether she was going to give me a tough time. I was looking at my wife's siblings to be
To see.
whether they were going to also give me tough time. I'm telling you, I have fantastic. I mean, fantastic relationship with my in-laws.
Oh, that's so
I mean, I don't joke with my in-laws. They don't joke with me. I mean, they call me king of surprises because I could just be anywhere. Bam, I don't show for their house.
That's great.
Even up to this morning, I've still spoken to one of my wife's siblings. I mean, it's like that. So when you see that all these things are not going to play, you are not getting married for 1 month. You are not getting married. I mean, I saw almost 50 years into my marriage with my in-laws. I mean, I was asking terrible questions. I was even asking my wife to be terrible questions as,
like,
when your father dies, what is going to be our responsibility?
the papa never even died.
Papa, nah, am I wishing the man to die? No, but the man is a titled man from the east. You can't just bury that kind of person. She my own papa wa no see.
You have thought
Oh,
deep.
I've gone deep.
So, and the reason was because of what
where I
happened.
was coming
yes, in your first marriage.
My wife was angry the first time I asked her. I said, there's a reason why I'm asking. It's better for me to prepare my mind down than for me to be caught with surprises. I didn't see my own father when he died though. I didn't see him when he died. So this one, you will need to meet some rights before you bury the man. I need to understand the rights. When your mother dies, what? My wife is the first grandchild, first granddaughter. So cultural intelligence says that you must learn everything.
I need to go and ask my husband this question.
You must learn everything about those cultures.
I will just run away.
And you need to ask because
what
Yoruba tradition is a bit modest.
Yes.
Once you enter Edo State, that
my husband is Edo.
Once you enter that my side,
sweetheart, what's the culture in your family? Hey,
they go. You need to know all those things so that things don't cut you on our way.
Such wisdom.
One of my extended auntie's mom died many years ago, and we were at the point of burying her. When they told us that we didn't do a rite for our husband when the husband died 20 years ago, and that we can't bury her. So that burial was converted to our husband's burial rite. So we took her back to the morgue. Yes. And 2 years after that time was when we now buried her.
There are traditions in this country.
So all those things are the things that you don't hide anything. So even if you don't know, it is better that you don't know. Then you go and find out. Then both of you come, sit down, and then I analyze it. So all those things were the things we didn't really do
in
at
the
that
first
point.
wedding.
Yes.
So
your first marriage.
Your first your in-laws, you guys were not that close.
Not with me. It was a family. It was a family thing. It was a family thing, and you can't blame people. People grow up with different things. They have ideas about things. If our ideas can't work together, we can't be together. We can't be. So that marriage didn't just work. We could mention so many things, but the marriage didn't just work.
How did it end? Who moved for it to end?
She left. She left when she realized that, man, I know if you continue with this guy. You know, my wahala said plenty small. But
what wahala?
And I could be strong-willed. So if now what I want to do with this, it's difficult for people to get me out of it.
You get auto-ignore.
Yes,
you still get
but it's difficult. So even without auto-ignore, I will still do what I want to do. But I'm ignoring you. And for me to arrive at making decisions, I take time. So when I arrive at making decisions, it's almost like now the thing what I'm supposed to do be this. Any other thing, no. But of course, it can't work like that all the time. So that marriage didn't just work. The long and short of it is that yes, she left.
And this was after our own break.
Yes, now just in between.
Now we just the mental now for nonsense. You know.
And I never even know say who is there were even.
I didn't even know. I was even angry with you now. You know, I wasn't.
Well, that time I left you, Shao. I knew that you just went cold on me. I left you. I said, one day Lara go come back.
So this is what I've realized when people go through heartbreak, divorce, rejection. they take things too personal.
Yes.
They overthink things, overanalyze things. You know, I have seen that in every aspect. I remember when I had my daughter, you know, and I was trying to hide her. If somebody greets me too much, I'll be like, hey, the person knows, the person is trying to. So I think that's just the what happened with you.
Yeah.
I just heard something that you told some people or told somebody, and I just like, what's wrong with this guy? I didn't even know that you were going through your
I
own
didn't even
issue.
take time to even find out from me
Because my ex-husband told me now.
that
And you guys were friends, so he's
We
the
were
one-
all friends.
We were all friends, actually. Anyway, maybe we leave that one. Now we are friends again. That's
Hey,
the most
welcome back.
important.
where's my
Congratulations.
welcome pack package?
Congratulations. So when she left, and you guys already had a son,
Yeah, a wonderful boy. We call him Chairman.
wow. Because you know, it's doing me because I am a part of this story, but there's so much I didn't know. How did you recover? How did that hit you? What happened?
So I would say the first thing first is what I did in my own case, which I recommend for people also, is to take responsibility for what has happened. Just take responsibility, whether you are at fault or you are not at fault. The truth of the matter is that when you sit down, you analyze, you have your own part
True.
of the whole drama or the whole issue. So take responsibility. That's the first thing. If
Take
you can
responsibility for your own part.
no
or take
for what has
respons-
happened.
For what has happened.
Don't. So the first thing that I notice people always want to do is they want to transfer responsibilities.
They want to blame.
They want to blame people. They want to start doing that blame game. You don't need that. Take responsibility. I remember my brother of blessed memory called me one day and then said, PM, part of the way that you know a man is that you take a decision and you stand by that decision. You start a thing and you finish that thing. When he said it, I didn't really understand. He said, you are the one that said you want to marry this lady. Abby? I said yes. He said it's not working. Go to court. Go and start the divorce proceedings. And divorce and just move on.
And finish it like you started it.
You started
then
it,
finish
you
it.
finished it. I took that advice immediately. I went to court. It took us 4 years for us to get the divorce.
Because you guys were fighting.
But guess what?
What?
I became fulfilled. After the day I got the divorce, 3 months after we got the divorce absolute, which is like a document that you
Yes,
also
a
get,
judgment.
I became one of the most fulfilled human beings
Why?
on the surface of this earth. Because I took an advice of how to know that you are a man is that you start a thing and you are in
Finish.
it.
But wait, I need to point this out. Why did it take 4 years? Because I got divorced, and trust me, because so let me credit my ex-husband, you know, which you know
Yes,
very well.
yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes.
in fact, if your own is auto ignore, what's his own? He's such
Nothing, Zef.
he's nothing. He's such a calm, chilled guy.
Mm.
So when this thing happened, and I already noticed, because me myself, you know now, and then because of my work, you know, I'm already a coach, therapist, and all of those things. I noticed that he was upset, which is normally happening. One of the things I did then, because we have a son to co-parent, I requested for a meeting with him, which is this responsibility thing you're talking about. And I remember this was how I had started the conversation. We went to a restaurant. I was in
nice.
Abuja then.
I'll try you.
Yes, we went to a restaurant in Lagos. And I said to him, I am sorry that our marriage didn't work. I am sorry that I did this, and this. I mentioned them one after the other, which is what people don't do. You just say, I'm sorry. Don't say I'm sorry. That's
not
not an
enough.
apology. What
not
are you
enough.
sorry for? I had to say, I am sorry for this, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for this. Do you know what happened next? Guess what happened next? What do you think will happen next?
He apologized.
Of course. I always tell people, if you want a smooth conversation with people that their head is properly
Yes.
screwed on their neck,
The people.
yes,
their head
those
is
ones,
proper.
the person will follow with an apology.
Yeah.
I can tell you, Peacemaker, that day we had a 5-hour discussion, and that was where we concluded how the divorce will be. So every other thing was proceedings. Everything lasted. It wasn't up to a year. We had decided where the child would stay. This is how much you give me in a month. This was Let me even be transparent today. just like you, after a while, he started asking for a divorce. You know, like he begged me for 2 years, and I didn't answer. So eventually he said, I need to move on. And the kind of person he is such a responsible man that I cannot start dating until I get a divorce. I'm telling you, me, I laugh. But now, what does that mean? What does he want?
Like him?
Yes, he was like
him.
I need to get the paper. So and then he's asked me for a divorce. I'm like, okay, now me say I no do now. By the time I went to ask my divorce people, lawyer, they were telling me 500,000. This was 2017, 20. I said, I no get to. I had to call this guy. I'm sorry that I'm sharing this story. I just want it. I just want to merge it. And I no get to. I had to call him that. See, me, Lara, I will say, Lara, could I see? Say, I no longer, because me, I don't have 500,000. And this guy, he didn't have money either. He went to take a loan and did the divorce. We had only one lawyer. I went to court once. The day I was going to court, he sent me money for Uber. Wow. I remember calling my mentor, are you sure I should be divorcing this guy? And today we are still so civil. He has come to my house, meets my current husband, shook him. Thank you for taking care of my son. Took him out, bought us caps. All of us were one big. My mom said, you put acting movie. So the reason what I'm just trying to buttress that take responsibility part. There's no need to blame. Why? Because both of you, it takes two to tango. It takes two for something to break. And
so even to work too.
To work also. So I just wanted to chip that in because that helps you to heal faster.
Yes.
The more you are, but didn't you blame her?
Of course.
For you broke.
That's why I said I had to. That's why I had to sit down at some point. The normal thing is that the blame game will start.
Yes.
But fortunately for me, when the blame game was going to start, this had happened 1st of September. In church, our pastor has started the message on forgiveness on the 4th. So I was only able to do blame game for like 2 days because happened on the 1st. Nobody knew about it. Didn't share it with anybody. I had to share it with my other brother 24 hours after. When my other brother heard it, he became like a lion. My brother was furious. Now, we are the only 2 guys in the family, so there's this close bond between me and him. So anything that is happening to him is happening to me. Anything that is happening to me is happening to him. So he became furious. But my healing started on Sunday when pastor started speaking about forgiveness. And I made sure for that month, and it was always a series then, I made sure for that month I didn't miss service for once. Whether it was midweek service or it was weekend services, I was making sure that I was soaking in this forgiveness thing. And that was where my healing started from.
What did that do for you?
I mean, it helped me to see things in another light, in another perspective. It took me years. I kept on telling my ex that I don't have anything against you. I may say it, you may not believe it, but the truth of the matter is that I don't have anything against you. And so moving on was very easy for me. Progressing was also very easy for me because unforgiveness will automatically hold you bound.
Yes.
It will hold you down.
Yes.
You won't achieve so many things in life. And I pray for her. Should I shock you? Myself and my wife pray for my ex-wife.
Till now?
Till now.
Oh my goodness.
Because our son lives with her. Our son comes for the holiday. He lives with her. So if we are not enjoying the boy, it is that she's not doing an amazing work. We're enjoying the boy because she's also doing an amazing work. And so we say that, and it's also part of the thing that I mentioned earlier, that all the question we did this word, Naim, me and my wife asked ourselves. Because I also foresaw into the future that will my wife accept this child?
True.
How will the relationship
be
between my children with her and my son with another woman? How will it be?
Those were the things you can't see.
Those were the things, because I don't like drama for my life. I'm not a producer. I don't produce movies. So I don't want drama for my life. And that informed a lot of the decision. It wasn't like myself and I were always agreeing. It wasn't like there were times I wasn't angry about some things that she did. It wasn't like there were times that she wasn't angry about some of the things that I did.
You're talking about your current wife.
My ex-wife.
Okay.
I mean, but over time, the thing go just look and say, well, when I remember the two things, Komosa Ida, like my friends will say, and then the other part is, what am I going to gain at the end of the day? Absolutely nothing.
Peacemaker, you're so... Wow.
Absolutely nothing. So, I'm more for the real stuff than the football stuff.
You know. So, but I want to, because you said when they first introduced your wife,
Yes.
you were still healing. So, if you had healed from the forgiveness message that Pastor did, how come the healing still delayed?
No, you and I know that's why we are here. Healing doesn't just happen like
It
that.
doesn't.
It takes. Remember what I said? I said my healing started from there.
Okay.
From that series
Okay.
of messages, because the things that I was trying to channel my energy on was diffused.
Okay.
That there's no need. Don't even bother your energy to do all of this. But we were still going to manage so many other things. For example, when she took me to magistrate court for custody,
Okay.
but I was the one that gave consent
To
for her to have custody,
Okay.
because the court was asking, so this, that, and I said, she wants the child, let her have the child. There was no need for me to be fighting. I said, the only thing is, can the boy be coming for holidays? The magistrate was even surprised, because since when she moved out, the boy had never come to stay with me. So the magistrate even then insisted that no, that this boy must come and be. In fact, from after this judgment, this boy can come. We should come and stay with you. I was the one that also requested that no man, let's not rush it, because the boy has not been coming. Let's ease into it. He can come maybe for the weekend.
And your wife was there. Your ex-wife
yes,
was there.
She was there, and then we can extend it, because by that time, I was functioning on another level. I wasn't even, and guess what? I'm a responsible dad. So I will look forward to what is good for my child. Not only for what is good for me or what is good for my wife, but what is good for my children. And so, I'm responsible for school fees. I'm responsible for upkeep. I still take my son out.
So even when the boy wasn't seeing you, were
even
doing
when he
all
wasn't
of that?
seeing me, I was still sending money for all of that.
Okay.
Because now my son. But you know what? Part of my healing process was that one day my son came to visit me, and I took him to the hospital to go and do DNA test. Yes.
Why did you have to do that?
Because the way the fight was happening, that I couldn't see my son. I wanted to confirm whether this fight that I want to fight for this boy
Is even necessary.
Wow. Not because I was doubting the fact that maybe fidelity. Thank you. But he was like, why you they deny me access to this boy like
maybe
this
he's
now?
not even my
So when the boy came now, so I didn't even tell my current wife. My current wife was still dating then. I didn't even tell her. So I just carried the boy go. 3 weeks later, and I saw result come out. 99.9.
So that energized you.
99.9, and that was when I knew that I had to fight for the soul of this boy. I went ballistic on another level, fighting for the soul of this boy. His mom is proud today that I fought for him.
Really?
Yes.
How?
She's proud. Because she saw how I went all out to make sure that I was present in this boy's life. So it wasn't just about send school fees, send upkeep. No, it's not. It's far more than that. I didn't want my child to experience what I experienced with my own dad at some point. And I told myself, not under my own watch.
This is such a
not under my own watch.
Very, very
tough. It was tough. Not easy to say so many things.
I understand.
But it was worth it at the end of the day.
I'm so glad for you. I'm so glad, and I'm so proud of you. But
Thank
I remember
you.
the last conversation we had when you were here. You also mentioned money as a factor that contributed
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
yeah,
demise of your first marriage,
Yeah.
and how you rectified that. You want to walk me through that journey?
Well, I had to become more responsible. That's the easiest
So
way.
is it that you were not responsible the first
So
time?
I was, but I wasn't making as much as what I'm making now. What I was making was little. I remember a friend of mine walked up to me one day and was saying that he was having issues with the wife and blah blah. So I sat him down. I said, "What's what's the issue?" He was trying to say so many things, and at some point I asked him. I said, "Guy, how much you dey earn?" And he told me. Then, I looked at him. I said, "But this money can even sustain you.
You want to
So how
talk
will
of
this money sustain
your family?
family?" He said, "Yeah, but he's trying, he's trying to do this, he's trying to do that." I said, "You are trying to do is different. We are talking of now. This money that you are earning cannot sustain you. So it cannot even sustain the family. And whether you like it or not, it's going to put pressure
Of course.
on the relationship. Anybody if you talk anything way they want to. Once money no day,
Money
it go
no dey.
affect it go affect things. And you live in the city. You don't live in the village. You can plant in the village. You can plant everything that you are even going to eat. You can't successfully do that in the city. Because even if you try to do that, your neighbors will go and report you to the authority. And it will become another thing. So I had to walk him through a process to say, "Guy, increase your earnings." Your earning is not even about you trying to prove a point to your wife. Is that it gives you personal fulfillment first. And so that period, I wasn't making as much as what could even sustain family. I mean, we had our son. It wasn't like I wasn't providing, but it was also that we were also depending on what she too was also bringing into the home. And that, of course, that's also had its own point. So I had to take full responsibility to say, "Guy, you have to earn more." So when people see my drive about me wanting to make more, is because one, it gives me personal fulfillment first. That whether I went to school, whether I went for trainings, or whether I studied or I read my way through and I'm able to make what I'm making now, it gives me personal fulfillment. Then it releases unnecessary pressure.
As in, I cannot say this thing like
It releases unnecessary pressure on my family.
it helps marriages when the man.
So guy, if you know they make money, go make money.
So how did you move from not making money to earning enough?
Well, it was more of a decision.
Okay.
So I had to
true.
make a decision that, man, guy, I want to make more. Even though at some point I wasn't specific about how much I wanted to make. Over time, I had to become specific. And I had to go through a journey for me to get to where I am today. I mentioned earlier, I've been involved in almost 10 businesses. I was doing different things for me to actually just discover where I'm supposed to be. Or the one that will really give me money. And which brings me to a point where I have to specially thank my wife. Thank you for marrying a guy like me.
Thank you, Eunice. Thank you.
Because one day we were driving, we were married then, my wife was pregnant with our first child. We were driving and I was always talking about this development thing that I wanted to do. You know, this passion thing. Please don't have passion. Have passion. Because a lot of people have passion and they think they have passion. So my wife asked me, I was driving, and then my wife asked me and then said, "This development that you have been talking about, when do you even want to start this development?" And then I didn't know when I just said 1st of March.
You just said it.
I just said it. It was like out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth
speaks.
I just said it 1st of March. This was January. No land, no nothing. It was still like a vision. But I was still doing other things I was doing. I was at some point, with all sense of humility, I was one of the best stage manager in Nigeria. And I was still doing realtor or brokerage on the side.
What was brokerage?
Realtor or agent. Agents.
I was thinking, is it the same thing that we are talking about? Brokerage. What's
So,
that? Estate agent.
Estate agent. I was doing it on the side. So immediately she asked that question, I answered, and she wound on the glass. And she said a word of prayer and then said, "From your lips to God's ears."
Amen.
That was when she ended the prayer with. And we continued driving. We didn't know that we had activated something.
Of course.
And that's the power of two. So I tell people, if you have gone through divorce before, remarry.
Remarry. I tell people too, because both of us are remarried now.
Remarry.
Happily.
Remarry, please. Remarry. There's a reason. I probably wouldn't have achieved some of the things I've achieved today if I didn't marry my wife. So I'm ever grateful to my wife. I'm ever grateful. I'm a workaholic, but man, you need to be next to my wife and know that I'm a learner where workaholic is.
That's good.
So
that helps, Seth. It helps the synergy.
Guess what? 1st of March, we consecrated our first development.
So how did you do it?
Because the word had gone out. The word had gone out.
So
And then because not just the word. So that's the second part. Because I was already into it.
Okay.
Before then, I'd already started looking for land a year before to try and see what we are going to do. I'd done designs, I'd done different things. All those things I'd invested into all those things. So that's why I say when you do passion, it's a terrible thing. So I had a passion.
What's the difference?
The passion part is that you say you want to do things, but there's no money in view for that thing.
Okay.
There's no money in view. So, passion comes with fulfillment.
Yes.
Part of the fulfillment is that there's also monetary part of it.
Money has to come.
So people will just be doing passion without having all those things in view. So I had done all the designs that I needed for our first development. The only thing was that I just needed land to put it on.
Okay.
So we involved in one transaction, and then as the transaction was progressing, one of the people that were involved in the transaction then said, "Sir, I hope you don't mind if we do joint venture instead of buying the land." I've been looking for joint venture. What's going on here?
That's the law of attraction, because you're already thinking of it. You're already, my God.
So are you telling me that me that brought you people to come and meet somebody that owns the land that I've known for over a decade, you will not come and buy the land, or you will come and do joint venture when me, I've been looking for joint venture? Now, this is the other part of the story. The woman that introduced my wife to me,
Okay.
the husband was the person we're having this meeting with.
Okay.
And they are the first people that we did our first development with at the end of the day. So that night I couldn't sleep because the man said, "Oh, not this particular land, go to another land," and told me to go and show them the land. When I got to the land, there was a connection. I connected with the land. And so I don't do things without spiritual backup.
Yeah.
I tell people that don't do it. There's also spirituality for everything.
Yes.
So immediately I connected with the land. I knew that this was going to be our first development. That night I couldn't sleep. The next morning I called the man and I said, "Sir, the guys that I brought to you yesterday, they are interested in this land." I said, "But myself and my partners, we are also interested in this land." I guess the thing fell out of his mouth. The next thing he said was, "Well, I don't know how you want to do it. It is you I'm going to give the land to." This was barely 1 month after myself and my wife prayed, which was now in February. When it was getting towards the end of February, we had signed the agreement already. And then my wife reminded me and said, "I thought you said it's 1st of March that we are going to start." Now, there was no money in view yet. So we reached out to one of our pastors and then we said, "We are getting a land on joint venture. We want you to come and pray on it." Pastor came, prayed on the land. The thing that happened after we coming on that 1st of March is that what I can remember vividly is that 8 months after we delivered that project. 8 months after we delivered the project. Today, we've been on 7 projects in the last 4 years.
As in, the reason why I wanted you to share this part is because I knew you then and I know you now. When they say that was then, this is now. I knew where all of us were struggling, hustling. And I'm like, look at what Peacemaker has done. What did this guy do? Because I like to share. That's why I really connect with you. I'm very particular about people who make money. Because I realize that Africans are mentally lazy. Africans don't have enough drive. A lot of them, not everybody. We don't have enough drive.
Let's say some people
don't have drive. So we like to make excuses. When I see that you're mentally lazy, I'm out.
But it's also, let me just add to what you just said, it's also based on environment.
Of course.
It's based on environment.
So what did you do that changed because you also grew up in the same environment. So what changed?
Like I said earlier, I had different stages in life, different enjoyable period or non-enjoyable period. My exposure started from me going to church, being a church boy, meeting people and associating with people. I didn't know how to make money for a very long time. I mean, and I've been volunteering now for
Yeah.
close to 30 years of my
Yes.
life.
I see you everywhere. Sure, you know. Everywhere. If I go for this conference, Peacemaker is there.
I'm still
till
volunteering
now.
up till now.
Till now.
Because it has now become part of me. But guess what? It gave me a lot of exposure. It gave me a lot of exposure. So everything's still based on your decision.
Yes.
It is not like, guess what? The only person that ever schooled in my family outside is my dad. My dad schooled in England. Other than that,
Nobody.
not my mom, not my siblings, none. But today, I mean, I've tried. I've traveled to some countries. I've tried. But the exposure is on a decision level. For example, myself and my wife travels nothing less than 8 times
Yeah.
on a yearly basis. And it has helped us to do businesses on global level.
Yeah.
It has helped us to meet people on global level. It has helped us to even change our mindset about some things. Because you just realize that you have a mindset over something, but when you go outside and you see the thing on another level, you're like,
You'll be
man,
shocked.
where you go, just close that and you say, Kai.
So that volunteering exposure, what did you use it for?
I used it to build myself. As much as I was giving, and like I also tell people, be a giver. Now, giving doesn't mean you're only giving money.
Yes.
I think that's where people also
Yes.
make the mistake. Me, I'm a natural giver. I give out information, I give out contacts, I give money, I give out so many things. I was on a trip recently and somebody who never knew me reached out after like 2 days of being on that trip. I said, Peacemaker, do you know what I've noticed about you? I said, what? He said, you're a connector.
Ah,
He says,
I can say that and beat my chest.
he says, when you enter into a room, you go around to greet everybody. When you're having conversations with people, you ask deep questions that naturally on your first meeting with people you don't ask
shouldn't
those kind of questions. And I'm like, oh wow. I said, me, I don't even know. I said, but me, I'm just like that. But the truth of the matter is that has opened me to more relationships than any other thing that I've ever done. Because sometimes, I mean, I was in the UK recently. I met someone and I was just meeting him for the first time, and we probably just spoke for like maybe 15 minutes, not more than 15 minutes. I already knew everything about the guy in about
Because you
15
asked
minutes.
deep-
Because I was asking him deep questions. This guy
Like-
has been in the UK for 30 years. I'm like, this guy, you have not been in Nigeria. What are you doing here? Are you married here? Oh, you don't have families? By the time I go
But
ask the guy,
I don't not private question. Were you not prying? Does it couldn't be you know?
it can't be priming now because I'm not
Prying.
doing
He
prying.
said
I'll be
priming.
prying. It can't be prying now because I'm not doing
Investigation.
investigation. I'm having genuine conversations,
Okay.
and those conversations, people will know that they are genuine conversations from
Yeah.
the way you are having it. You know, there are ways you'll be asking questions that you are doing investigative
Yes,
journalism.
yes. But if it's conversational,
If it's
you know, you are
conversational.
commenting, you are leading it up to other things.
So
wow,
be a giver.
this is so educating for me because this is the second time I'm hearing it. But do you know what has happened? You have shared this story in 2 different ways.
Oh wow.
You know, and talking about that connection thing, you know, remember where we met the last time, the conference.
Yes.
Peacemaker introduced me to this one, meet this one. Ha, Pastor, you don't know Pastor Lara? Like, I'm not a pastor, but boy, you don't know this one. You don't, and I have seen you. Like, I'm still shocked at how much you give to people. You volunteer, help people. Now that you are even, you know, in quotes, bigger, you know. I see that you still have that same level of humility because now you're not a small boy. You know, this man runs Brass and Castles, right?
Yes,
a
Brass and
real
Castles.
estate company
Yes.
developing, and I know you also have an online oil and gas firm.
Yes, we do.
Which other one? Because I know you.
We have a technology company.
Aha! Benny, don't be modest.
We
Don't
just
be
find
humble here.
expression, basically. We just find expression. That's what we do. We just find expression. We never reach where we want to reach.
Okay,
But
you
we
will
just
reach there
find-
very soon. So I have learnt a lot from your story. But to round up this conversation, you know how we do now. You
No,
must
I
play
don't
game.
know. Okay.
You must do trivia game. Fast
Okay.
game. Oh.
Okay.
Okay. So the things here I'm reading is very funny. You studied computer science.
Yes.
Do you still code for fun, or is it real estate your full-time love now? Is real estate your full-time love now?
Real estate is my full-time love now.
Real estate is your full-time.
Full-time
Not.
love now.
Did you ever practice computer science?
I coded for a very short while.
Okay.
Outdated coding.
Now real outdated.
Yes, no. JavaScript and all those things.
Okay. So two, you've attended. So first of all, I think these questions have options. So let me
Okay.
mention them. You've attended conferences in Dubai, Qatar, and Rwanda. Which city has the best food? A. Dubai. B. I'm not going to mention the food they wrote there. B. Doha. C. Kigali. Which one?
Spain, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Malaga.
Malaga. That Malaga they were telling us that last year. Me, I did not go.
Malaga.
So what
actually.
food did you have there?
I can't remember the name. The thing looked like fried rice. It looked like this are fried rice. But I just want to say I chop them, and I went the second round, and
You
I
took
went
it
the third
again.
round.
One
And I
food.
almost took, I'm telling you, I almost took to my room. So, so
So three, your company is expanding to Ghana and Rwanda.
yes.
Which market excites you more?
Zanzibar, actually.
Why are you even mentioning out of? Why?
Zanzibar.
What excites
So
you
it's
about
a
Zanzibar?
tourist destination,
Oh my
almost like
goodness.
Rwanda, Kigali, but theirs is more of the ocean view.
Yeah.
It's more of the ocean view. Kigali is more of hills.
Mountains.
I mean, they say Kigali, for example, is a city with a hill on a something around there. But Tanzania, Zanzibar, it's on another level. I mean, you are
is.
on one part of Zanzibar in the morning, the water rises to
Yeah.
a point.
Absolutely.
You go to the other side, in the evening, the water rises to a point,
Yes.
and then the water changes colors.
Peacemaker. Me, I've not been to plenty countries like you, but Zanzibar took me out.
Oh my God!
I'm telling you. And
So that one
they
interests
are
me more.
They are milking it.
They are milking it, yes.
If you know how much a hotel is
They are
per night
milking it.
in Zanzibar,
Oh.
you even pay city tax. You even, and I was like, man,
We are preparing
these people.
to go there.
Well done. You are not looking for partnership.
No, we are interested. I'm heavy on collaboration, so
Okay,
you are welcome.
I don't mind though.
You are welcome.
So you've appeared on CNBC Africa,
Yes.
Arise TV, and TVC. Which interview, and now how they hit? Which interview made you the most nervous?
How they yield.
Why? I knew that was going to be it. Why?
So, a lot of what I've shared today, this is like the only place you must have heard them
Of course.
outside. A lot of things that I've shared today, I've not shared them
Anywhere.
anywhere. If I've shared them, it will be more of close secured relationships.
Why did you
those-
choose to share here?
So, myself and my wife agreed last year
Okay.
that from this year, I can start sharing. So, for almost 10 years, I've not shared these things.
Good. So what is the purpose of that agreement?
The purpose basically is to influence lives.
Okay.
Is to influence more people.
Okay.
Basically, there's nothing other than that. Just to give and see how people can also enjoy this life that you live.
And I'm privileged to be the first platform that they are sharing. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm
don't
privileged
joke.
and honored to share.
Oh, thank you. This question that they're asking: what's your secret skill from your computer science days?
Secret skill.
Should
I'm
I
a
give you
very
options?
good project manager.
Oh, you don't even there. All your answers are the option. They wrote Excel wizardry, property
Nah.
calculations, fixing the office Wi-Fi.
Nah.
I built brass
Fixing
and
the
castles
office
from-
Wi-Fi.
Let me give you option C.
Option
I
C.
built Brass and Castle's first website.
Nah.
You did not even
I
go
didn't
near.
do that.
You don't become a Ghana.
No.
Website.
I didn't even do that at all.
Okay. Chogum. CHOGM 2022 in Rwanda versus a Dubai property expo. Which had the better? They are my producers are not joking. They are Google. They have done research on you. Which had better networking?
Chogum.
Okay, they even give you a third option.
Which one?
Chogum, world leaders, Dubai big money investors. See, Lagos parties. Everyone ends up there.
Nah, Chogum. I met practically everybody. Prince Charles was in Chogum.
Oh.
Visu was in Chogum.
Ooh, Vuzi.
Sorry, Vuzi. Yeah, was in Chogum. I met some of the ministers in Nigeria in Chogum. I met some government dignitaries, which would have been very difficult to meet in Nigeria. I met them there.
This is access, so sometimes you have to go outside of your space.
I created some international relationship, which I still maintain till date. By the way, I got my CNBC interview because I went to Chogum.
See, people need to learn. You need to do a master class on networking and
Hopefully
using it for. I'm telling
that.
you, don't worry, I'll create it and call you. You know me now, I'm a business person. Finish the sentence. The key to success in real estate is.
My answer may not be acceptable, but mentorship.
I like that. It's not part of the option, but I like that.
Mentorship. I didn't share that part. I understudied someone for 5 years before I went into development. I worked with my brother for 10 years as a broker before I also went into development. So mentorship really grounded me.
I see this all the time.
Today.
It cuts short your, and gives you more knowledge.
I still had a meeting with my mentor on Friday.
I'm proud of you. Congratulations.
I'm proud of you too.
So final, because we need to go. Game this or that. This one has to be fast. Suya with extra spice or mild?
Extra spice.
Extra spice. Ghana jollof or Nigerian jollof?
None.
You don't like jollof?
Senegal jollof.
Dubai shawarma or Lagos smoked chops?
Dubai shawarma.
Pounded yam with egusi or eba with ogbono?
Pounded yam with egusi.
Champagne at a closed deal or palm wine with bodies?
Champagne.
Plantain chips or coconut candy?
Coconut candy.
Akara and pap or avocado toast?
No.
Chew or swallow? Chew. Anyways, thank you so much, Peacemaker, for doing this. I feel so honored for you to share all of this because this is so rich. Anybody that would watch this would know that they need to learn from this. From growing up from a very humble or poor background, like you call it, from being married, being divorced, healing, remarrying, from going from being a poor let me say directionless man to now being founder of companies. I am so grateful and honored that you decided to share all of this here.
Thank you.
And I am proud to say you are my friend.
After abandoning me, I'm proud to be your friend.
Again. So
we forgive each other.
We've
healed.
Yes, we have healed from all of those. So ladies and gentlemen, you have heard all of this. Look at all the things you have to learn from Peacemaker. If you can do it, you can always do it. Don't let divorce be the end of you. Don't let poverty be the end of you. Don't let pain be the end of you. You can always heal. Till I come your way next time, please subscribe to this channel and I'll bring you another scintillating and exciting guest on How They Healed. See you on my next episode. Bye for now.